Peace and love, everybody. It's Anna Renee here, and I'm your love power goddess coming at you today. A very wonderful, as always, every single day is wonderful. I have to always declare that, and I seem to do it automatically, but yet another wonderful day. Today is the 20th, right? Yep, February 20th, 2020. And a blessed day. Definitely. And for that reason, let me bless you. Blessings to you in your life. That you are always going upward. That you are always ascending. You're always improving and bettering and making sacred your life in every way, shape, and form, as it is a journey that you are always on that journey. And I'm blessing you to always move forward in that journey. So thank you for being with me today as I move forward in my own journey. Today, I wanted to talk about making one's life better, in a really touching and heartfelt kind of way where you can actually feel good, okay? Where you can actually bring joy forth, snatch joy, as someone I used to know would say, okay? Snatch joy, okay? You got to snatch it. You know what? Because it may not just land like a feather on you. It depends on your vibration, of course, and that's part of what I want to talk about, because we want to get to the place where joy follows you. You don't have to snatch it, okay? It chases you down, okay? As one of the beautiful wealth principles, all right? Joy, okay? That currency that you deserve and that I want to help us to bring forth in our lives, make it bigger. If you got it, then there's nothing wrong with having it even better, right? If you don't have it, then it's certainly nothing wrong with trying to get it, right? Especially if it makes you a better person, more of yourself, okay? A better you. So today I want to talk about the fact that this being February 20th, in another month, the true first of the year is coming, right? Spring comes forth in another month, right? And many people call that the new year. Naturally, it is the new year. It's when the equinox, what do you call it? The spring equinox is at hand, round about the third week of March, right? And it is springtime and things are starting to blossom and awaken and bloom, and winter is pretty much done and it's time for things to wake up. And that includes us as human beings. We are part of the cycle of life. And within our spirits are cycles, okay? And as women certainly know that we definitely have cycles. Let me wipe my glasses off because they are kind of messed up over here, okay? I think I put my fingers on them. But we have cycles, and our menstrual cycle is only one of many cycles, and that's just the nature of life and the nature of nature and the nature of earth and the nature of the universe. Cycles. It's cyclic, all right? And so we want to be in alignment with the cycles. And so I'm thinking, you know what? Why don't we prepare ourselves? Because a lot of times because of the hustle and the bustle of life, we may not remember. There are some of us who are very in tune to the cycles of life, and we don't forget about any cycles, okay? We know when the time is near. And then there are some of us who may fall out of alignment with the cycles, and we're sort of flailing about. We're not quite certain, or we're sort of out of sync, and things like that. That's why I'm talking about our culture, what is known as a hoodoo culture. Right now, at this particular time in our history as a melanated people in the West, we are doing a lot of our hoodoo culture, which is a term, the old school term, and because of the way things have occurred historically, a lot of people feel a negative way about hoodoo culture based on not understanding or just not being a part of it, not believing in it, not respecting it, whatever. But there are aspects of it that are folklorish, maybe even superstitious, but there are also aspects of it that we are practicing right now, and that has to do with the herb culture and the self-healing modalities that are a part of that culture. And that's our indigenous culture. And we want to tap in as much as we can to it, And because it starts right, at the spring, the spring equinox. Why not be prepared for it? I have this book, and I've been having this book for a while. 4 Seasons of Mojo. Okay, even the term mojo has its detractors, right? But this book was written by Stephanie Rose Bird, and there are 3 others that I have by her that speak to that old African American culture, and the beauty of it, the understanding, the religious aspect of it, the natural aspect of it, and just the in tune with nature aspect of it, and all of it, And this book talks season by season. Oh my God, I don't even have any water in my glass. That's it. No more water right there. Talks season by season about our culture. And it talks about different things, okay? Talks about incense burning. This is Stephanie Rose Bird. It's called An Herbal Guide to Natural Living. An Herbal Guide to Natural Living. That's exactly what it is, too. Winter by the fire, dreaming, and the elder, spiritual warmth. This is winter. Now I'm talking spring. The water element, flowers, holistic home, spring cleaning. That's very heavy in our culture, right? Spring, well, that's heavy in a lot of people who live close to the earth, right? But from our own African American perspective, okay? And all of the things that we brought with us from Africa and those Africanisms that we managed to hold on to even through the brutality we experienced. And it talks about the magic and the mystery of the seasons, okay? And there are all kinds of different things that we can do. Solstice and equinox, seasonal mojo, working roots, okay? All the things that you're going to need. So this book tells you what you need for working your roots, okay? Working your tools. Baskets, preferably made of sweetgrass and other hand-woven natural materials for harvesting and holding freshly harvested fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Blenders, bottles and jars for those essential oils. Cauldrons, charcoal blocks for burning resins, frankincense and myrrh. Chimenea, a mini fireplace, a coffee bean grinder, double boiler for boiling those herbs and things like that, and a whole list of other things like that for making sure you have your tools so that you can do your works, which are going to be with a whole lot of herbs and natural things of that sort. But that's just part of what we do. People, excuse me, it is warm as usual. But our indigenous culture is important to us, okay? It fills an empty space in the heart of some who need that, you know? There are some of us who we don't need it. We don't think we need it, or we don't have time for it, or, you know, we're moving and grooving on a different frequency. But then there are some of us who might feel a little out of sorts, and tapping into this can help us to come back to ourselves, you know, to that missing part, that part that you remember hearing your grandfather talk about, your great grandmother talk about, you know, just becoming more of a natural mystic, you know, that helps, you know. Now, don't worry if you are new to it, or, you know, you're just sort of wondering about it, and you want to start going to those who may know your great aunt, who may know a few things. Oftentimes when you go to the old folks to ask them questions, if you're coming at them like a reporter with a notepad and you're going to take notes, they shut down on you. They're just not going to talk. They don't know what you're talking about at that point. In this case, you have to do things in a different way. You have to be more subtle, and you have to be observant too, especially if you're blessed to have elders in your family who do things the natural way, okay? You just have to be observant and watch them and learn and know how to ask questions, or know how to just observe so you get your questions answered, you know? If you go up to them talking about, so how did you do this? And this and that, and they ain't gonna even know what you're talking about. That's just a mechanism, a protection mechanism that they learned long ago, because back in the old days, Black people just couldn't be out and open about our culture, especially what we brought over from Africa, those Africanisms. And so, you know, they just don't talk like that. You have to be smart about how you go about gathering your information, you know. A book like 4 Seasons of Mojo is a great help in learning, and she's got others too. One more that she has is called The Big Book of Soul. That's another one by her. Okay. The Spiritual Practice of Hoodoo and How to Use It to Improve Your Health. Talking drums, spiritual dancing, clapping, tapping, shistling, singing, and chanting. You know, we do a whole lot of chanting, a whole lot of dancing. We wonder about ourselves when it comes to that, you know. The ancient healing rituals and magical recipes of the Dalilu. Power objects, tricks, and mojo bags and herbal remedies. Modern midwifery. Origins in the 17th century American slavery. The African spiritual practice of Santeria, Obeah, Lukumi, Regla de Ocha, Orisha, and Kimbwa. Those religions, okay. So she talks about that aspect of our culture in this book. And she has 2 others that I have on my shelf. But our original and indigenous culture, if you can get the information and, you know, step to practicing, you know, don't try to incorporate everything if you're not familiar, you know, just, you know, take 1 or 2 things and, you know, try to learn about them. It might fill a void if you happen to feel one. Not everybody's feeling any voids, but sometimes it just makes you feel better to know a little bit about who you are and where you come from culturally, if you are melanated, okay? Don't worry about the silence or resistance, as I said. They were silent and resistant And they needed to be that way, and sometimes old habits die hard with the elders. But if you are kind and intentional and intelligent about the way you interact, you could probably learn some really good things from your elders, okay? If you're blessed enough to have any elders that you can interact with about culture, okay? At the very least, you can observe them and listen, okay? Learn to see the good in things, okay? This is just a basic kind of thing, just, basic kind of stuff that helps tremendously. Sometimes the simplest things are the things that are of the most importance in our lives to make us feel like real people as we journey through this vision, okay? And learning to see the good in things, then focusing with a laser sharpness on those good things that you see. Because as we know, this world is dual, okay? There are the so-called good things and the so-called bad things, That is what it is if you accept that it just is what it is. It's always been what it is. It's going to continue to be what it is. And I'm beginning to believe it's that way so that we as human beings can have free will choice. If everything was perfect, then we would have no choice in the matter. We'd be forced to be good. But as beings with free will, you can choose to do the right thing, the good thing, the higher thing. You can choose to do this, the lower thing, and get the results of doing lower things. Reap what you sow, okay? Or you can do the good things, so-called good, okay? And get the results of having done the good thing. But you have to be able, as a free will being that the Most High created you, to choose. And that's the blessing that the Most High has given you as a human being, okay? And as a divine being as well, okay? Learn to look at these good things, okay? And the more you endeavor to look at those good things and see those good things and practice focusing and maintaining your focus on those good things, the more good things will come, okay? It's the law of attraction in action. If you see the good, then the thing that you're looking, and another thing they say is, when you look at something, how did they say that? I can't remember right now, but anyway, the more you focus on good, the more good you will get. Okay, I got to stop and start over, all right? This phone, I tell you, is just weak.